Hello, everyone. You're listening to Those Are the Girls with Mallory and Friends. I'm Mallory.
I'm Victoria.
And I'm Melanie.
And we are changing culture and bringing back traditional values.
I feel like I said my name weird.
I
don't know. It sounded like I get stuck like Victoria. I'm Victoria.
I think I would have remembered if you did it that way.
I feel like my tongue got stuck after the C.
While you were talking, I'm Victoria. There's an episode I say like I'm Mallory. I sound like nasally. I don't know what I was doing that day.
But welcome to the weekly Teacap, ladies. Cheers.
Ooh, cheers.
As my father would say, cheers, big ears. Oh crap. Did y'all hear that?
Yes.
Laying my mug down. Oops. But anywho, so yeah, welcome. It's been another eventful week.
Yes,
a lot has happened.
It's one of those weeks where I kind of wish we did 2 weekly Teacaps, or at least like a midweek tea party. That's what I would call it. Like, let's do our midweek.
Well, we had to cut stories. We were going through look, this is getting too long.
Yeah,
we got to cut stories.
It's been quite a week.
Yep. So anywho, so Mal, what's your hottest tea of the week?
Yes, my hottest tea of the week. So, I guess my hottest tea, I've been really focused this week, and I've been very, very proud of myself. I have read my Bible every single day this week. I have gone to the gym every single day this week. And I have walked every single day this week. Yesterday it rained. So actually I didn't go to the gym yesterday because instead of walking, because it rained, I did a workout from the gym app that I have.
What gym app?
Crunch. I said the thing too. This gym, I was very intimidated because honestly, I'm not an athletic person, in case you couldn't tell. If you're listening, I'm not an athletic person. And there's a lot of really attractive athletic men. My brother goes to this gym, and I went with him at first as a guest. But then they had it was really cool. I liked the gym and the amenities, and it was pretty cheap. So then I signed up. But and even the girls that are there, they're so beautiful. I've never been to a gym where I've been like, wow, these girls and their butts are so nice. Not that
no, I totally get they know how to do a back squats.
Yes, all of the girls look so beautiful, and I'm coming in there and my t-shirt and my leggings that I'm constantly pulling up because I'm you know how it is when you're a bigger person. I'm constantly pulling up my leggings.
Well, I think any normal human would know what it's actually like unless you're stick skinny, model skinny. Any normal human knows what it's like to have to pull up their leggings.
Well, that's what I'm doing the whole time. And I guess I'm not watching them enough to see if they are, but I'm doing that, and I'm wearing t-shirt, and they're in the bras or the really nice athletic shirts, and I'm just hi, I'm just trying to do this. And I get nervous going to the weights area, but anyway.
Well, that's the best way to lose weight is the build the muscle.
Yeah, you're supposed to be
it's
burning.
Better than cardio, I know.
Yeah, your cardio is good to get your heart rate up, but to burn, to get rid of fat, and build muscle, you do have to do weights. And I just get so anxious doing that just because everyone there looks so.
This is why I bought a Peloton and work out at home, so I don't have to watch people watch me work out.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure Stephen Furtick was at the gym, the pastor Stephen Furtick, because it's literally across the street from the church, walking distance from the main campus. I'm pretty sure I saw him, but then I don't know because he normally has bodyguards, and I didn't see any bodyguards. Yeah, that's a whole other conversation.
So real quick, the app you're using, does it go with your gym?
Yeah, but I think you can still purchase the workouts.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. I have the sweat app that I would do when I would work out in a gym, but then with the Peloton, I just do all my workouts on the Peloton app.
Yeah. I hear a lot of good things about the Peloton.
I love it. So Melanie, what is your hottest tea of the week?
My hottest tea of the week is being a big girl and doing big girl moves like looking for my first vehicle. That's right, ladies. You heard it first. Here, those are the girls. I will be the owner of my first vehicle, hopefully starting tomorrow afternoon.
So the day you're listening to it.
Yeah, so this is big, you know. I've saved up so much money, not knowing where that money was going to go, like not knowing why I was saving a bunch of money, just knowing like I need to save. That's the thing people do. And now I need a vehicle for an upcoming job. And so it's the time. It's the time to rip the Band-Aid off, make a big girl purchase. So
that's so exciting.
yeah.
And this is why you save. I'm reading this book, everyone, that I want to have him on the podcast somehow. And like, this is why you save. You save for the things that you want.
Ramit book?
Yes. I want him on the podcast. I read the first chapters about victimhood and I'm like, he needs to be on the pod.
Yeah, I have it. I haven't read it yet.
So good.
I know. So my hottest tea of the week is I have started watching Parks and Rec.
Yay!
And I've never related more in my life, like being involved in like local politics, and like because she was like, "Oh my god, guys, it's the city council of like what is it, Pauline or whatever,
Pawnee."
She's like, "Oh my god, it's this former city councilor of Pawnee," and I'm like, "Oh my god, that's how people in the local party act." Like everyone like freaks out when it's like, "Oh my god, it's like Somerfield City Council person," and like create like all this stuff, because it's like, I mean, they are a Republican elected official and like they do have a title, but it's just like so crazy. I'm like, I've never related so hard in my life.
You're gonna love Leslie, I think.
I'm already in season 2.
Oh, you're already on season 2. Oh, good. But the first
halfway through season 2. And oh my god, when she married those 2 penguins, not realizing they're both male, and then it becomes like a whole political thing, I lost it. I'm like, this is the funniest thing. She's like, I wasn't trying to make a statement. I can't make statements. I'm in government. And she's like, I just want to do a nice thing for the zoo. Like, I honestly thought one was male, one was female. And then, oh my god, it was just so funny. And then like show. And god, and then she has like a gay icon in the town, and then like the Faith and Coalition woman was like, you need to resign. You need to annul the penguins' marriage and resign.
And honestly, that's like low-key how it would happen. Like, I know it's like, it's satire, but like that's probably what would happen. That's the funniest part.
And she was like, I just didn't mean to. I'm not trying to make a statement.
Oh, such a good show. And honestly, they make her a much more likable character after the first season. So if you liked her in the first season.
I agree. I've noticed that, because I was like, she feels like the Michael Scott of politics the first season. Yeah. And then she becomes like a lot like less cringy.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh, bless your heart.
Yeah. My favorite, really quick, and then we can get into the stories, but my favorite line, and it's not even a political line, it's just like, I think it's in the first episode. This is when I was like, I'm gonna like this show, because, you know, I like kind of like darkish humor, was when they went and they knocked on someone's door and they were like, hey, we're thinking about putting up a park. And the guy was like, oh, nice. Can you make sure it's like 6 feet away or something? Or what is it? 6?
Oh my God. He's like, it needs to be like 500 feet away from my house.
Yeah. And then Tom goes, uh-oh. And I think that is when I lost it. That's my humor. Uh-oh. And then he like moved April. That was so
like, April, get behind me.
Yeah, that was so, not like the whole thing, but like just the uh-oh. I think that's hilarious. But yeah, that's such a good show. I'm so happy you're finally I'm kind of shocked, but I haven't seen the other one that everybody likes that's super political either.
So I love The Office. So I tried watching Parks and Rec in like undergrad.
Yeah, that's when I started it.
Before I tried watching The Office, and like the Greg Daniels shows are usually like, okay, like it has you have to commit yourself to like watching it before they get good. And it's like it's just like it has to be the right time and the right mindset for you. And I just wasn't the right time, the right mindset, because like you have to watch it without, I don't know, it's just like you have to watch it and be able to watch it to get through the first season. If you're going to take you a week or two to get through the first season, it's not the right time to watch it.
Yeah. You gotta, they're back to back. Like, I'm not doing anything all Saturday. I'm on my laptop all day Saturday. I need something in the background type shows.
Yes. And so I love, like, it took me like 5 times to get into The Office, and then I finally get it, and I'm like, really? This is amazing. Yeah, because it was like I would try watching it on a flight, and like download it to my phone.
Oh yeah,
it's like all this stuff where I'm just like not in the right mind space.
That's not the way to watch it. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I was the same way with The Office. It was like everybody kept saying, "You just have to get through the first season. You just have to get through the first season," and I kept trying. I just felt like if it's this bad, like why is it worth it? But it was worth it.
It was. I would say like because like Parks and Rec is like not even like 10 episodes. It's like 9. Yeah. I would say, okay, I take back my statement. If you can get through the first season in like 1 or 2 sittings, then you're good.
Yeah. I will say just really quick, and then we have to get started. A show you don't have to get through is Community from the jump.
I have tried watching Community
from the jump.
Nope. I've tried watching Community.
I got Melanie and Jerry onto it. What do you guys rate it out of 10?
10, 11, 1,000. It's so good, y'all.
Okay, I watched the first 5 episodes and couldn't get into it.
I don't know what to tell you. Maybe try it again. Maybe really go talk to your priest and then come back. Like I don't know what to tell you.
But so I will say of like the Greg Daniels, Mike Shore, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I got in like that. Like it was one time when I was in, and my god. Like they've gotten a little political this season, and honestly, I've only watched like 3 episodes of this season because I'm like, I'm just gonna wait and just binge it all. Because it was just like cringy. I'm like, I mean, I get it, but I'm like, I don't know.
I haven't seen the new season. I'm rewatching it with my parents. I'm surprised they kind of like it. Like I can tell there's like tiny things, and you know, when certain people do certain things, there's always I can't believe they added that. But once we, you know, get past that, they kind of like it. My mom thinks that Peralta is so funny, which I'm like, oh my God, that's he's weird. He's so cringe, but okay. And my mom's like, oh, and Amy's so pretty. She's such a nice girl. Amy's such a nice girl. I'm like, she's not real, but okay. But I'm nervous to watch the last season with them because if it's super political, I know they're gonna
like they had they had a whole like. I guess this is spoilers, like up front, like Rosa quit the force because of like the police being like racist.
Against Rosa?
Like in general, she quit the force because the police were racist.
Oh, this isn't even like a topic, but I really kind of just, shows are escapism, for me at least. Maybe some people like to learn or whatever. I watch shows for escapism. Community is amazing because it is escapism. It is something that's silly that like you can just mindlessly watch. You feel like you're part of their community. It's my comfort show. Like we don't want to watch. That's one thing I did not like a lot about this season of Law and Order. I did not want to watch Mask on the screen because there's Mask in real life.
I will say like certain shows that I feel like, okay, like I get why. Like This Is Us, Grey's Anatomy are both very much like up to date current events type stuff. Like it's very much like not set, like, you know, it's set like today, like you would be going to Grey's Anatomy Hospital if it was real, you know. We're like,
well, I won't watch Grey's then.
Yeah, but we're like other shows, you're like, okay, like this could be like a different timeline. Like
that's what I want.
Like The Flash, they weren't wearing masks.
No,
it was like this is a different timeline because it's like this isn't real. So I say like certain shows that are like realistic, like I get why.
Like Riverdale, they're not wearing masks either.
Yeah, because it's not real. Like,
not that anybody's still watching,
but like me. This Is Us and like,
are they like making current episodes?
Girl, like, not only are they making current episodes, they brought back the Josie and the Pussycats. They brought them back.
I never watched Riverdale.
I watched the first like season or 2 when it was just like murder mystery, But then it got like weird with like supernatural, and I'm like,
oh yeah,
what is this?
Now there's like a Mothman thing. It's crazy. Okay, we're doing what we said we weren't going to do.
Yeah.
Let's get started.
Okay. So here are our top stories for your weekly Teacap. Cheers.
Oh, wait. Okay.
So,
wait. Sorry. I was going to do a cling glass sound, but never mind. It's taking me too long.
Too late. All right. Our first story is SpaceX launches all civilian crew on Inspiration 4 mission. And all civilian crew streaked into space atop the SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket Wednesday on the first privately funded non-governmental trip to orbit. A historic 3-day flight devoted to raising $200 million for St. Jude Research Hospital.
Okay, I'll go first real quick. I think that's cool. I still get Doctor Who vibes from it. So I'm praying for their safe return. But I think that's cool that civilians are able to do that. And I think that's cool that they're raising money. I like that. St. Jude does a lot for people. So that's amazing that they're doing that.
Well, I know they've given him crap of like, you can't spend all this money that you've devoted into space to like fighting hunger and like, I guess paying his employees more. Like I've seen the left talk about that. But like my opinion with it is like, it doesn't seem like NASA's doing any additional research, like the whole
NASA
like
stopped.
NASA doesn't stopped. Exist. So someone has to do it.
Yeah.
But then these are also the people that are encouraging like we need to find a way to live on Mars because we're destroying our Earth. Yeah. Or also the ones saying like, why are they sending humans into space, civilians into space? And it's like, well, you want to be sent to space if the Earth blows up, don't you? Like,
right. Well, the other thing too is this is, I think, the start of what's going to start happening is tours in space. I think that's the next thing. It'll be for the extra wealthy. So super rich people who can pay, $100,000, maybe even $1 million to go take a tour in space for a couple days. And then they're going to do a contest for a lucky, just regular civilian paid for by some rich person. And then they're going to start doing it for just regular people. I am going to wait for them to do a couple rounds with regular people because I want to see how it affects everyone that goes
you
first.
Actually want to go to space?
I do not have a strong, like, I must go to space, but like, I don't know, if we've been going for a couple of years, we see that people aren't coming back with extra tails.
Like, as if this is the norm, like airline flying.
Right. Like if it's like going to the beach or something like that, then yeah, I'd do it just to do it, like to just say I did it. Like I don't have like a strong connection to it. Like if I die and I don't do it, then I'm not gonna cry. Like if I die and I never get to swim in that pool in the lake place in Iceland, then I might cry. But like this,
would you go skydiving?
Absolutely. Okay. That is
so you are that kind of person.
Absolutely. Once I get to my weight loss, everybody listen, once I get to my weight loss goal, that is what I want to do. I want to skydive. I'm going to jump out of a plane.
All right.
Yeah. What do y'all think?
For me, if I would only want to go to space just so I can get a magnet to add to my collection that shows I went to space.
I guess they'll have them by then.
Yeah.
I mean, if it's like a Xenon kind of vibe, I think I would be down.
I was about to say that.
But like, this has to be like normal. Like, hey, where are the Jones going for Christmas this year? Oh, they're going to space. Right. I got to keep up with the Joneses.
Right. That's what I mean. Like once we've been a couple times, because that's what's happening next. They sent this all civilian crew as a test. How do regular, normal, average, everyday people who are not scientists do up there? So I think once it starts being us and they do it a couple times, fun, but good for these people. And I hope they raise money.
Yep. All right.
I'm thinking of iCarly. Oh, y'all remember that episode of iCarly when they were like, gonna be the first web show to record in space? And then they did a trial, like still on the ground. Oh, yeah.
And they got space magnets.
And they all went crazy.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah. Everybody's gonna go crazy.
I hope not.
Well, our next story, it's kind of a sad one. Gabby Petito, 22, is currently missing. She has documented her countrywide travels on Instagram, TikTok for the last 2 years. And she mysteriously disappeared. So what happened? On a recent cross-country journey with her significant other, which I think he was her fiance. With her fiance, Brian Laundrie, Petito disappeared. Recent reports revealed that about a month before her parents filed a missing persons report, Petito and Laundrie, who live in Florida, were pulled over by the Moab Police Department in Utah near the entrance to Arches National Park. Police video shows the couple getting into a minor scuffle that began when Laundrie climbed into the van with dirty feet. The body camera video shows Petito visibly upset when an officer approached them. And she hasn't been seen since, I think it's like August 25th? 28th, sorry. Gabby Petito is 5 feet 5 inches tall and about 110 pounds with blonde hair and blue eyes, police said. She has several tattoos, including one on a forearm that reads, "Let it be."
So before we discuss it, I want to say this really quick. We just gave her the description, and then when we wrap it up, I want to give the description one last time. I think that it is great that this has national attention, but I do think we should also remember that though, trying to figure out who did it is fun for a movie, this is someone's real life. I think it's great that we discuss it, but I think we also just need to make sure that we're taking it seriously, I guess.
Well, I think the difference between the true crime stuff is that was years ago. This is an active search right now.
Well, I think I think it's also, for example, what I think is not appropriate is people adding on, oh, those other 2 murders. I wonder if he killed those people too. I don't think that's appropriate. I think discussing it, I think in true crime, they discuss open cases all the time. They discuss things that happened the day of, or not the day of, but they discuss these types of things too in true crime. I just think that we just have to be careful to not just start adding things to it, assumptions, because these are real people. And I do think it's good though to discuss it and get the word out. And I think it's the other thing, and I said this in the politics because they asked us about it on the page. What I think is great is that it's 2021. You cannot get away with crimes like this, especially if it becomes notoriety. There's no if he really did murder her, which it's quite possible. If he did, he will never get away with that. The way people are researching him, I mean, his Instagram is still open, which I do kind of find weird. It's not private, and he has not turned the comments off. But
I think they took his phone away.
Yeah, I hope that's what it is. They should, because I mean, I can't imagine what's happening with his phone. Her comments are off, but I think that's because her family had. Well, I wonder why her comment. Well, I guess our family could have her login information.
Yeah, I mean, they could. I would imagine they're down in Florida.
Yeah,
because I think I read they're from Long Island. So what's weird about this? So Gabby and her fiance, it's not they met online and then got engaged a month later. They have been together, friends since high school. Their families knew each other. She
was living with them before they went on their trip.
Yeah. Yep. So that's something too that I think is interesting to keep in mind, because it's it wasn't a stranger she met online.
Yeah.
Are you saying that as a reason for why he should not be a suspect, or
no?
No, just something that's interesting to keep in mind. I do think he's a suspect because he's not. He has an attorney. He's not talking until I guess he has to.
So Melanie, sorry.
Go ahead.
Well, Melanie doesn't know the full story. So what we didn't read was, what happened was last time anyone heard from her was August 28th. September 1st, the boyfriend shows up at his parents' house in her van without her. September 13th, the parents are no,
hey, they filed it September 11th.
I'm sorry, you're right. September 11th, the parents are hey, where the heck is our child? And he's not responding. He's not saying anything. He has been lawyered up. He has had no communication. Nobody knows where she is. Yeah. So that's where the sketchiness comes in. And I mean, there's so many theories. I mean, I initially thought, oh, this guy absolutely murdered her. But then like seeing a couple things and like learning a little bit more, I feel like so really quick, we can all say our theories. I think that what it could possibly be is that her like they got in a fight and he like drove off without her and then went back to find her and she wasn't there. And then he freaked out because he's like, oh my gosh, I lost her. And he went home because he didn't know what to do.
Well, that's my theory too. Like, I think he just like freaked out.
Yeah.
And just kind of like, not trauma. I don't know. Like I think he just kind of like freaked out. It's like, oh my God, my life is ruined. Because like, if that is the case, like he could be convicted for manslaughter if they find her essentially dead.
Yeah. What are you thinking, Mel?
Well, my question is, if he returned back to a spot, let's say we're following that theory, or it's, I don't know, a theory of she wandered off because they were angry at each other and he didn't leave that spot. I guess my question would be just the natural instinctual response of, why wouldn't you have called authorities?
Right.
Yeah.
And stay like there to help them look.
Yeah, that would have been like, if that was me, I would hope that I'd be like, dang, Jerry hasn't returned, or that was stupid of me. I was like angry, but you know, I'm back. Sorry, where is he, huh?
Yeah.
Call the police.
But the fact that like they've been together for years and like no one's kind of like come forward saying, hey, like there's always been something off about him. It was very much like, and that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not like she randomly met him online. Like, their circumstances of being together is not sketchy, and it's not. That's why
I think it's not intentional anymore.
Yeah.
Or even like she fell off of something. Well, I'm thinking maybe she could. So why didn't you help search? Now I'm thinking maybe she fell off of something and she died, and it maybe makes it look like he did it, but he really didn't. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm thinking something like that.
I don't know. I just feel like your best option, I feel like, is to call the police right away. Is to say, like, I don't know where my girlfriend is. Like, is to just be upfront rather than waits a while, drives home to mom and dad. Hey, mom and dad. Like, I don't know where.
Well, that's what I'm wondering, if it was just like something like click, like, you know how like stuff can like click in your head, like when you've like dealt with something traumatic. That's what I'm wondering.
Oh, like if he like something snapped. Something snapped.
Yeah, like she like dies and he's like, holy crap, like I gotta go, like freak out and like leave.
Yeah, like he didn't respond appropriately.
Yeah, that's what I'm
sometimes thinking. When people have, were you gonna say something, Melanie?
Yeah, well, it just occurred to me, like, you know, our culture has been fed the message of cops are bad, cops are mean, the cops are out to get you, they're not there to help you. So I'm just thinking, like, that could be a reason why someone would think, I'm not going to call the cops. Heck no, they're not going to help me. They're only going to hurt me. That's just a theory of like why someone wouldn't instinctually call for help, because they've been told all cops are bad cops.
Yeah. So really quick on that, I agree that could be a little bit of something, but I will say, everyone listening, if something like that does happen, do not talk to the police. When I was in not like if someone goes missing, call the police, but like if you are in a situation where like they are arresting you, or like you're in a situation where they are interrogating you. When I was in my classes, getting my master's in law, they said, do not lawyer up, even if you're innocent, especially if you're innocent, lawyer up, do not talk.
Yeah, look, I think he's doing the right thing per se.
I think for himself, he's doing the right thing.
For himself, he's doing the right thing, but for her, he's not.
Right. I think if he really didn't do anything, like he's doing the safest thing to protect himself legally.
Yeah.
Morally, he's not doing the right thing, and socially, he's not doing the right thing.
Yeah.
Sometimes the right thing can feel like you're helping someone. I don't know, y'all. This is an ad. I was trying to transition. It's the time of year again. So we are collecting money for pads and tampons for women in shelters in North Carolina. One of the least donated items in shelters are pads and tampons. Let me say that again. One of the least donated items in shelters are pads and tampons. So we are stepping in the gap for these women. Sorry about that car. Sounds like someone's racing. No, they shouldn't be. There's no place to race out here. Anyway, we are stepping in the gap to help these women. Last year, the goal was $200. Not only did we exceed that goal, we bought 792 pads and 296 tampons. And when I say we, I mean us other girls. I mean, it wasn't just me putting in,
all the money.
Right, $150 because only people donated 50. It wasn't that at all, which honestly I thought I was going to have to do, but I didn't have to do that because we all came together. We all donated. We all did our part. So head over to our website and there is going to be the link where you can click it and it says feminine product collection or something like that, and you click it and you donate, and let's see if we can surpass our goal. This year is $250, so let's see if we can surpass $250. Head over to the link, and the link will also be in the show notes, description, wherever you're listening to this.
Awesome. Well, our next story is CBS retooling the Activist competition series after immense criticism postpones release. CBS has made the decision to reformat its upcoming series, The Activist, after it received immense criticism for promoting performative activism and being tone deaf. When it was announced roughly a week ago at CBS's Television Critics Association Summer Press Tour, the format of The Activist would see celebrity judges Usher, Julianne Hough, and Priyanka Chopra Jonas presiding over a competition in which 6 activists representing 3 causes, health, education, and environment, would try to raise as much awareness as possible for their cause. The first 4 episodes would show them doing that through various methods, including a social media campaign. The 5th and final episode would see 3 of the activists chosen to go to the G20 summit in Rome, according to Verity. First off, I don't see how this got approved to begin with.
Stupid.
But dumb. I will say, I'm wondering if people are overreacting because, to be honest, Priyanka Chopra Jonas would never do anything like that would be negative, what do you mean? Well, she's the type, she's very activism focused. And I feel yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And so I feel like she would never do anything she thought would be inappropriate, in my opinion. But I know the thing that I don't think this is not a smart idea in general, but maybe instead of just pitting them against each other, they use it as, and I think this is what I heard, that they're transitioning to a documentary, which I think is actually the better, to be okay, this is how you do an activist campaign, and kind of teaching people how to be activists and how to appropriately post stuff. And we've seen a lot of activist campaigns that are awful and don't know how to report facts.
True, very true.
But unfortunately, I think they're going to be left-leaning activists.
Yeah, that's going to be a big thing, because somewhere, I don't remember if I read it here. Oh yeah, health, education, and the environment. I doubt it's going to be
definitely pro abortion.
Right, and I doubt there's going to be anybody that's going to talk about conservative solutions to the environment.
No, of course not.
Another thing, I was listening to another podcast and they were talking about this, and they were the problem. Well, I think you're the only. I don't know who else knows that Priyanka was an activist, because they were well, this is what they said sarcastically, yeah, when I think of activism, I think of Usher. Usher's definitely the guy who was an activist. He said that sarcastically. Yeah. And I'm that's a very good point. I don't understand why, Usher.
Well, the only name I heard was Julianne Hough, and the Morning Toast was blasting it. They're she's not that, she's not a nationally recognized activist. I think it would make sense for them to do nationally recognized activists as the judges, not celebrities.
I feel Angelina Jolie would have been a good, if you're looking for an activist.
Amal Clooney.
Yes, her. Yes. I feel they would have been better than Usher, Julianne. I just think that's so that's so stupid to me. I also I feel activism, that word now is such a trigger for me. I feel it's so cringe. In my Instagram bio, I have pro-life activist, and I kind of want to change that to something else. Not because I'm no longer
pro-life warrior.
Oh, that's even worse. But I feel activists sound so Yeah, I post on social media. You might even catch me at a protest. Here's my sign.
Yeah,
which I do.
It's not like someone's like dedicating their life for like a certain cause. They're like, oh, this is the cool thing to do now.
Right. And which I do. Like I do that as well, but I also door knock. I also try
But you're not treating it as like, oh, I'm only doing this because everyone else is doing it.
Right. But I just feel like having the term activist in there now sounds like
cringe.
Melanie, do you want to say something about the activist thing real quick?
Well, I'm confused. Is this a show?
Yeah, it's like a reality,
like a competition, show. Like the Apprentice.
So, like, who can be the best?
Yes, there's going to be elimination.
Like,
yeah, there's going to be elimination.
Okay, so like, is this average people who show their ideas of?
Yep.
Okay.
I guess it'd be like Shark Tank, but for activism. But then you're competing against the other activists, not just yourself.
Well, no, someone said like The Apprentice.
Yeah.
Okay. That makes sense. Well, for me, like the word activist is more than just social media activist. It's like,
I agree.
Yeah. So it's like, have it in your bio if that's really what you're doing. I don't know. Like, if all you're doing is posting words like I just
socialism
feel like
is bad.
I feel like you have to have action
you
with
post
your
a
words.
Black square and then you're like a BLM activist.
Exactly.
BLM. Yeah. Well, like that's why I want to take it out, because that's when I think of activism now, that's what I think of, and I hate that because that's not activism.
Yeah. Or like the people who were like during like all the BLM stuff like last summer was like posting like, and I will say it's like all the people who are posting BLM like content and like resources and putting quotations on the resources were all white people, and I never saw any BLM resources from someone who was Black. I'm like, okay,
interesting.
Like I felt like it was them saying like, oh, I'm a white person, but I support Black people, so I have to share this.
It was very, and when I think of activism, I think of performatism. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. So that's why I'm like, do I take it out my bio now? Because like it's cringe.
What does that mean? The performative activism.
So it's just like the Black square, the sharing, the
like you're not actually like going out. Yeah. Like it's just like those who like
what's door knocking
statuses.
Yeah, or like what's door knocking? Oh, I can't make phone calls. Oh, I can't go and help the poor. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but like it's people who just do the post a Black square and then just post on Instagram. Like that's performative, and they're not, or even like they're doing that. So for example, like as a performative pro-lifer person would post all the social media stuff, maybe go to a protest with a sign, but when it comes time to like maybe talk to their friend, they're very quiet, they don't say anything, or like they aren't doing it, they're not active, they're not doing anything else. Like another step could be, at least going to pray. It could be like
they're not doing like, they're not going about like an activism to me, someone that goes above and beyond. Like there's a speaker, they're the one organizing everything. It's not just like going to one single protest and then posting a Black square and resources on their social media.
Right. Yeah. Like I think we would be like, by definition, I think we would be considered activists. Unfortunately, I feel like they hijacked the term, and now an activist is just someone who posts a Black square in the infographics and may go and wear a sparkly outfit to a protest. But speaking of protests, you guys, I want to mention this. The Women's March, if you guys remember, it started, I think, when Donald Trump was elected president.
Yeah, it was like right before his election.
I think it was right after the inauguration because it was in January.
Before or after? Oh, it was the day before. That's right.
Yes.
It was the day before.
Okay, it was the day before. So the women's marches started. October 2nd, there are going to be women's marches all over the country in a lot of major cities. And it's this year's theme is for women reproductive rights. I think as OGs, other girls, this could be our chance to stand up and do something. This could be you being a real activist. You plan a counter protest wherever you are. plan a counter protest. I think you should reach out to your Students for Life, RC. If you go to their website and find it, I don't know what you find. You probably just type in RC in your state somewhere.
Yeah, you can email your state at studentsforlife.org. So
North
Nebraska
Carolina,
at studentsforlife.org.
Yes, and someone like tell them that you're interested in that and they can help you. We in Charlotte are planning one. This is I've kind of taken the reins on it, and it's actually very interesting because I've never done anything like I've always shown up with my best, but this time I'm actually kind of planning it. And the one in Charlotte, if you are interested in that, you can email prolifefutureclt@gmail.com. I'm trying to get at least try to get a solid group there, because here's the thing about this. So on the one in Charlotte, on the Facebook page, it's 200 people have confirmed that they're going to go. So realistically, that's about 100 people. But ideally, I would like to have at least 50 people. I would love to have 100 people that I love for us to have 200, but that's unreal, especially in Charlotte.
Are you working with Love Life on this?
Brooke is going to text them. So okay. I'm in. So I think
if you get all those Love Life people, that's at least 100.
Well, here's the other thing too. Everybody, this is a moment to be brave, because I think honestly people are going to be nervous because. Especially because Charlotte, I don't think anything's going to happen. I think that it's going to be pretty peaceful, but I do think people are going to be nervous because Charlotte, our pro-abortion people are very aggressively pro-abortion. So I do think people might be a little nervous. I am going to I've been reaching out to all my pro-life contacts in Charlotte and the surrounding areas. So hopefully we can get 50 people. That is the goal. But if you're listening and you are in another state, if you're in the Charlotte surrounding area, please come. But if you're in another state, I think this is a time for you to do something. So our theme is pro-life is pro-woman, because their idea is that it's a woman's right to have an abortion, but pro-life is pro-woman. So the reason why I think that we should have a presence at these events is because I think we should show whatever city or state you're in that everyone in that state is not pro-abortion. I think you should show them that you're not going to stand for this legislation, and that's why even if it's just me and Brooke, I hope to God it's not just us, but even if it's just me and Brooke, I want the people to know that not everybody is pro-abortion in this area. We're going to stand up, we're going to say something. So just a little tiny things. Like I said, it can be completely peaceful. You don't even have to talk to the people. You can just have your sign and stand there and just, stone cold face, if that's what you want to do. I know that some people like to have a bullhorn and like to do chances like that. That's a possibility. However you want to do it. And I just want to just say also too, it's no pressure. You're just going there just to show because the city people, the leaders of your city are going to be there. If they're not going to be there, they're going to look and do some research. News are going to be there. If we can just show that not everybody is thinking this way, I think it'll just make a huge difference in your city. So I highly recommend everybody look to see if your city's having one. If not, look to see the surrounding area. If not, come to North Carolina, come to Charlotte, because we need people. But everyone.
Yeah, I want to chime in on this and say that it is important to be the face of the pro-life movement at a pro-abortion rally or gathering, because if you're not there, then the pro-life message, the pro-life voice is not being seen nor heard. And only one narrative is being listened to. So that's why it's important to show up and counter. So don't think of it as now's the time to have dialogue. Maybe
right. That's another thing too.
It's really more the time to make a statement. If you want to have dialogue, table on your campus, table, I don't know, at a community park, but a protest isn't really the time to have that dialogue. It's the time to be a voice for the preborn and to make a statement. So I heard an analogy today that I really liked, that in the pro-life movement, we're all kind of different instruments a part of the same band. So you can think of
that.
Yeah, I love it too. So you can think of like a marching band. So you can think of like Love Life. I know they're more focused on prayer and singing, and so maybe a protest isn't really the crowd of Love Life. Like maybe that's not really their thing. Not saying they can't show up, I'm sure they can, but to say that that's their instrument, is the prayer, is the worship, whereas maybe some person, their instrument is that bullhorn, is that counter protest, and maybe for some people their instrument is the sidewalk advocacy, and that's what I'm really good at, so just think of it of like, don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone and to use your instrument to the best of your abilities to help the band, to help win the battle.
Yep.
Yes. And just last thing, piggyback off that real quick. This is, like you said, this isn't the time to have the debate. So I do think you just being there is going to be enough. You don't have to think that you have to have all of the right rhetoric. If someone comes up to you and tries to talk to you, don't feel the pressure. Just walk away. Like, you do not have to talk to them. The fact that they're even talking to you already shows that you've made some sort of difference. So,
and if anything too, I would want to encourage before you want to have dialogue, get trained first. Have an apologetics training, either with Students for Life or Justice for All, Equal Rights Institute. That's their thing, is to build you up to be confident in having dialogue about abortion. So I just want to put that out there. If you're not confident, if you're not comfortable, get trained first. That way you do know what you're talking about and you do know how to refute pro-abortion arguments. So just a pro tip.
Yep. Great advice, ladies. So our final story is, this is something I thought was very interesting and I added it in. I saw this on my New York Times top 10 stories of the day. And I thought we'd discuss it briefly. Google and Apple are under pressure from Russia, remove voting app. So Apple and Google removed an app meant to coordinate protests voting in this weekend's Russian elections from the country on Friday. A blow to the opponents of President Putin and a display of Silicon Valley's limits when it comes to resisting crackdowns on dissent around the world. The decision came after Russian authorities, who claim the app is illegal, threatened to prosecute local employees of Apple and Google. A sharp escalation in the Kremlin's campaign to rein in the country's largely uncensored internet. A person familiar with Google's decision said the authorities had named specific individuals who faced prosecution, prompting it to remove the app. The app was created and promoted by allies of the opposition leader Alexei Navalny, who was hoping to use it to consolidate the protest vote in each of Russia's 225 electoral districts. It disappeared from the two technology platforms just as voting got underway. The 3-day parliamentary election, in which Mr. Putin's United Russian Party, in a carefully staged managed system, holds a commanding advantage. So why I chose this story is I thought it was really interesting that in our 2016 elections, the left was claiming that Russia and Putin were involved, and that is how President Trump got elected, is because of the election fraud created by Russia, which it came out later that was a complete lie. Like, that wasn't true anyway. But what I find interesting is, like, the people who were screaming election fraud for Russia were people like Google and Apple. And so I just thought, and this is something we can discuss briefly, like, I just thought it was really interesting that, like, the people who you would think would want Russia or want Putin out of power in Russia are the ones that are giving into his demands, and then claim that Trump gave into his demands, but that was, like, never true at all.
I also have a quick question. It says that Russia's country's largely uncensored internet.
Yeah, that's what they're claiming.
Okay, because in my head, I figured Russia had a censored internet. Was probably highly censored. That's what I thought. I could be wrong. I don't know enough about them.
Yeah, they're claiming uncensored. I mean, I don't know enough, but I would agree with you. I'd imagine it would be censored based off the corruption that is told to us by the media.
Yeah, that was my uneducated understanding of it. So that really stuck out to me. And then just the idea that they would be on Russia's side. So
not on Russia's side, they're on Putin's side.
Sorry,
that was the shocking statement to me. It's like
Putin's side.
Yeah, they were claiming like Putin did this, Putin stole the election for Trump, all this stuff. And it's like, if you truly believe that, why are you siding with Putin on this?
Well, so this kind of brings to something that's kind of on topic, but also off topic. If you go to the hashtag natural immunity, I think I sent that to both of you guys. Yeah. If you go on Instagram, hashtag natural immunity, it's like censored. You can't see what's on there. And my first thought was like, how stupid. Not even in the sense of like, that's stuff people need to see, but like optics wise, now it really makes it seem like you guys are like doing something wrong.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, I wonder if that's the plan, to make us not trust social media. Like, I wonder if it's like
maybe
a switch up. Like, I wonder if all along they know Trump didn't do anything with Russia. All along they know that them doing this is going to get us frustrated and make us not trust social media. Like, it just, to me, that just seems like take away the fact that like some of the natural immunity stuff, not only that, some of the things in the hashtag could have nothing to do with COVID. Yeah. Some of the things in the hashtag, the natural immunity hashtag has been there before COVID even existed to us, before it even affected us. Yeah. So take away that aspect of it, but just not the psyop, that's not the right word, just the psychological, what it's doing to people who already don't trust social media. Like, everybody that I saw said that was like, wow, now whatever's on that hashtag, I must really see, which I agree. Like, that makes me want to be like, okay, what was on that hashtag that they made them? So like, it just feels like such a bad, like, it just feels like a bad move.
Yeah. And like, to me, it's just like, it's just evidence that these social media platforms are siding with one political party. Like, they're siding with Putin under blasting Trump for 4 years, saying Putin stole the election for Trump. I mean, it shows like we as Republicans, we get shadow banned on social media for promoting like facts. Trump gets like deleted and not allowed to use like Twitter, and is he still banned from like Facebook and Instagram?
I think so, and Pinterest,
and DoorDash. Yeah, and it's like, okay, like who is like, it was like someone's like, I don't remember who it was, maybe one of my Facebook friends, like they literally go, I just got put in Facebook jail for sharing this post that was like an article that was a true article from a liberal magazine. It's just like, it just shows like the biases with the social media, and it's so frustrating because it's like part of me gets why, like, yeah, like false information should not be spread, but who determines the false information?
And I think we should allow people to decide what's false or not. If, for example, the Tide Pods thing, I don't think they should block. I'll just use that because it's the basic one. I hate the idea of the youth, even though I read somewhere it wasn't even the youth. It was kind of like, anyway, I hate the
college students, I think.
Yeah, well, I'm just gonna say the youth. I hate the idea of the youth drinking Tide or eating Tide Pods. I hate that idea. But if that's the information they find, their parents, because they're the youth, the parents should be involved, but the ones that are the adults as well, they should be adult enough to understand and decide whether to make that decision to eat the Tide Pods or not. I really think that we should be able to decide whether this information, flat earth stuff, I think it should be easy to access flat earth information. And I think that it is, and we can decide, if we look at this information, we can decide whether we believe the earth is flat or not. I don't think it should be as hard. And how do I know it's hard? Okay. How do I know it's hard? Because I have looked into it. I saw a documentary about it. I have some really Christian friends that use Bible verses or whatever. I don't necessarily believe the earth is flat, but I have been like, you know what? I don't know much about this topic. I want to look into it. It is incredibly difficult to find information about the flat earth. Like information that's not automatically like, it's not flat. It's very difficult. So I think we should be allowed to determine for ourselves.
Yep. And the final thing I'll have to say, it's, why is the media essentially banning Putin's opponents, Donald Trump, but allows the Taliban leaders to stay on social media and use social media to get the Taliban messaging out. I'll leave it at that and let you guys ponder that. You ready for our woman in the W's?
Is immunity spelled with 2 M's?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, I'm looking at the hashtag right now.
Natural immunity?
Wait, this is natural immunity with the middle finger emoji hashtag.
No. Let me send you the post really quick, and then the post that I saw it in, and then you click that one, and then it's going to ask you, and we can just do it live here. You guys, you click it, and then it goes looking for vaccine info. When it comes to health, everyone wants reliable, up-to-date information. Go to website, see post anyway, or cancel. Click see post anyway, hashtag is hidden. Do you see the hashtag I sent?
Is this that ballerina who lives in the...
Melanie, yes, that's not the point. Look at
okay, I see it. It's not, yeah, go to website, see post anyway.
Is this the ballerina? Tell me more about her.
This hashtag is hidden.
Yeah. Now, what if I was looking for a natural immunity because my son is sick and we've tried all the medicine and we want to do it naturally?
Well, think of all like the content creators that make their living off natural immunity.
Yes. Well, that's
and this is why, as a content creator, you need to have your own platform, because you never know when like Instagram, TikTok, Facebook goes away. You never know when you might get banned.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you always have rights to your own website, and right now your own podcast.
That's like when the election happened. I was growing, like part of that is because I have a friend that has a lot of followers, and whenever she would tag me, I would get followed. But I was kind of growing, and around the election, what was it, Melanie, that we tried to hashtag stuff, and then it was like during the election you could not see. It was like for a week, and then like a week after. Do you remember what it was?
No.
Oh, I think I remember you mentioning that.
Yeah. Like, and it was a couple days before I was on the cup, like I was one of the front people when you would click the hashtag, and then I clicked it again, and it was like, oh, we're hiding these for a while, and then it took forever for them to put it back. But anyway, so let's move on to our final thing, our women and their W's spotlight. This women and their W spotlight is brought to you by the Culture of Life 1972. Head over to www.col1972.com and use the code THOSEARETHEGIRLS1972 to get 10% off your purchase. 100% of your purchase is going to go to pro-life causes. So our women and their W spotlight goes to the brave women who testified against Larry Nassar to the Senate. Well, they testified against the FBI for botching the Larry Nassar abuse case. So Biles and her teammates ripped the FBI for botching Nassar abuse case, sitting at a witness table alongside 3 of her former gymnastic teammates. Simone Biles broke down in tears while explaining to a Senate committee that she doesn't want any more young people to experience the kind of suffering she endured at the hands of Lawrence G. Nassar, the former national team director. To be clear, I blame Larry Nassar, and I also blame an entire system that enabled and perpetrated his abuse. Biles, 24, said Wednesday, as her mother, Nellie Biles, sat nearby, dabbing her eyes with the tissue. Miss Biles and hundreds of other girls and women, including the majority of the members of the 2012 and 2016 U.S. Olympic gymnastics teams, were molested by Mr. Nassar, who is now serving what amounts to life in prison for multiple sex crimes. His serial molestation is at the center of one of the biggest child sex abuse cases in American history. I saw a clip of her testimony, and it was, first of all, she's so brave.
I saw that he molested her, and then she went on and won team gold at the Olympics. Like that,
wow.
Like molested and then went to Team Olympics. This story is like really close to my heart because I've kind of dealt similar situation. Thank God it was not sexual abuse, but it's sad that I have to like say that first, because I was like emotionally, physically abused by my coach in college. And I tried filing a complaint, and like they covered it up completely.
Wow.
And the sad thing is I thought I was alone, and then it comes out that other girls like he had done this with, and they tried filing and couldn't, and like they hit it again. And so like I'm thinking I'm alone, and then it comes out these multiple girls filed complaints against him, and he is still coaching there today. And yeah, and what's sad is that like I filed a complaint from the athletic department, I filed a Title IX complaint, I filed it from the athletic conference, I filed it within the UNC systems, and there was no one there that could protect me. And so this is why stuff like this happens, because of these systems. And the thing too, it's like I couldn't do anything. And this is what same with these girls. It's like if I come out complaining while it happens, then he can like let me go from the team. Like I spent my entire life, like I've been playing golf since I was 2, literally spent my entire life to get to this place, to be able to play college golf. And then I have this man do this against me, and then trying to get help, trying to do it. And it's not like I'm doing this to get revenge. I filed a complaint to make sure he never does this to another girl like the other girls before me did. And they just hit it because it would make the university look bad. So instead of protecting the student athletes, like the U.S. Olympic gymnastics team
and the FBI,
instead of just looking bad briefly and protecting these girls, protecting me, protecting my teammates, they just covered it up. And that is why this stuff happens. Like as a student athlete, I had to follow the student code of conduct, the student athlete code of conduct, and my team's code of conduct. There is no coach's code of conduct. There's no rules for a coach to get in trouble for this, because they decide not to make the rules. So there's no way they could get in trouble. And that is what's wrong with this situation. That is why stuff like this gets covered up. And that's why we as a society, we as those other girls need to change this. And that's why I'm so strong against student athletes having the rights to get paid by their name, image, and likeness, because these universities are making millions upon millions of dollars off essentially athletes, like essentially slave labor that they're doing with these athletes. That is why I'm for this. And I am one of 50% of every student athlete, when they leave college, leaves with a chronic injury. I'm one of them. At one out of every 2 student athletes will leave college with a chronic injury.
Oh, wow. I did not know that.
Yeah. Like because mine's a back injury. And so what happened was I tore a ligament in my back, and my coach told me, you're faking an injury, you're going to keep playing. Even though I was in excruciating pain, he told me, he goes, you're too weak. You need to keep playing. It's not a real injury. And he's the one that determines my health care. He's the one that determines and will push the trainer to clear me. And that's what happens with all these student athletes. If the coach can push them far enough, they'll clear a student athlete. And so that is why I'm so passionate about this, clearly. And I'm passionate, these girls are so brave for sticking up for themselves. And that's why we need to be changing the system. You need to make sure, we need to be a student athlete needs a bill of rights. They need a coach's code of conduct. These coaches need to be held accountable. Why is Nick Saban making millions of dollars a season when he doesn't even throw the football or catch it?
That's a good point.
And he's not he's getting injured. He's not getting concussions. He's not tearing his ACL.
So they don't have a cap on how much coaches can pay.
Coaches can make as much as they want.
Oh, they determine their salary.
Well, no, not they, but like the university.
Oh, the university.
Like,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like it's a limited amount. It's not like baseball where like salaries are capped.
Okay. Melanie, do you want to go or do you want me to go next?
Yeah, I just thank you for sharing that, Victoria. Like, I just really appreciate your vulnerability and sharing that experience, because that's obviously a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that you're, past that season of your life. And I want to speak on this from the perspective of being a survivor of sexual abuse. And I just think, like how you said, Mallory, these girls are brave. Like, it takes a lot to make a report.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of bravery. And then it takes a lot of bravery to go through all the steps of the system, following the system, the way how our government has set up the system. And that takes a lot. Yeah. And then to have to, testify on behalf of yourself, that takes a heck of a lot of bravery. So I applaud these women. And I hope that from that pain, from this darkness, from the ugliness that person has caused these women, we can be thankful for the conversations that we're now having, that we are recognizing things need to change. Coaches can't get away with things like that, or people in power in the sports business, Olympics business, can't get away with stuff like that. And I really hope too, in addition, that more survivors will be brave to speak up like these young ladies, because, and I think Victoria, you touched on this too, if you don't say anything, that perpetrator gets to keep on living life freely and keep doing the horrible thing. And so even though it does take a lot of bravery and it is hard, like with my own story, I thought of, if not like for myself, for other girls that I know my perpetrator has harmed, and so that he'll never hurt another girl ever again.
Same with me.
Yeah, so I'm really thankful for these young ladies, for their examples. And this just also shows you too that evil's everywhere. Like in your family, where abuse can happen, I don't know, with people who claim to have your best interest in mind, and in the Olympics. And so I just think, like, this shows that the devil can creep in anywhere. And again, I just really want to encourage anyone listening that it is hard and it does take a lot of courage
and a lot of time. For me, it's been almost 6 years.
Oh my goodness. And so that case is like, it's still like an ongoing thing with that coach.
Yeah, it's still ongoing.
So, wow, I did not know that.
Yeah, and it's so interesting too, being on like this side, like the receiving side of the law, and seeing how it's like played out. For me, it took almost 2 years since the initial report until the man was sentenced to prison who abused me. It took about 2 years. So it's not like in the movies that you would think it's like a next day event. And when did these girls first make a report?
It was around, I would say, like 17, because it was like right after like I started.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Stuff. But, and I will say, from like an athlete perspective, like this man had control over whether they were going to compete and whether they will be able to be in the Olympics. And so, like, kind of going off, like, I've been playing since I was 2. These little girls have been doing gymnastics probably since that was long. Like, all I knew was my sport. All they knew was their sport. And so it's like, okay, like I've worked my butt off for this, and I don't want to let this man determine, like,
that's
my decision.
That was what I was going to say, like my 2 cents, which thank you girls really for sharing your experience. I don't have an experience like that, but I was going to say, it's just thinking about like your whole life you've been working for the certain goal, and unfortunately this man has so much power that he says or does one thing, and your whole life, the one thing that you wanted to do your whole life, is gone from you. Like,
that's how it was with me. It was
I was gonna say with your
like
situation.
My whole dream was to play college golf. That's all I wanted. I had no intentions to go pro. I just wanted to play college golf, and in an instant like that, it was all taken away from me.
Yeah. And that's so, and I don't know how to fix that culture, because that's a sports culture, because I remember in high school.
It's encouraging if your state is looking at student athlete bills. So like North Carolina was looking at it, but honestly, the school system, like the college school system, got involved and lobbied for it. Like as a student athlete, there's no lobbyists for student athletes, but you better believe the university public school system puts in a lot of money to make sure there are issues. So the bill kind of just sat there and hasn't happened. But I will say, like, the NIL, student athletes being able to make money based on their name, image, or likeness has been a huge milestone. It's definitely a step in the right direction. But if your state is looking at doing like a coach's code of conduct bill, a bill of rights for student athletes, because like when I started looking through, like, okay, like what are my steps if I file a complaint against my coach? No one could direct me to the right place, and then they'll be like, and they won't tell you until it's too late, because you have like a certain amount of dates to file a claim, and like you'll ask like and try to get hold of like the athletic department, and they won't tell you until it's too late, and they're like, well, you can't do anything now.
Yeah,
like I can't tell you, like, because like I've dealt a lot with helping like other student athletes get through this, me and my family has, and I can't tell you how many times this has happened.
They have too much power, it sounds like.
It does.
Have too much power to tell you.
And there's no one to hold them accountable. Like, that's what I'm fighting for. Like, I don't care how much money they make. I just want them to be held accountable. I want to make sure they cannot take advantage of one more single student athlete.
Yeah.
I want to make sure student athletes are treated fairly, getting the health care they need, getting, like, because what people don't realize, so, like, you think, like, okay, with all my injuries, like, with PT, the school would be paying for it, but no, like my parents' insurance were the first to get filed, and then whatever my parents' insurance didn't cover, that's when the school would pay, which essentially it's like the copay, which is like nothing. So my parents were having this huge insurance bill, but the school doesn't have to pay for anything.
I think once again, you both are really, really brave for speaking up. Same with Simone and all the other girls, because I'm just thinking also too, like,
I mean, think of it from like a workplace harassment. Like you might not be like a student athlete or a victim of sexual assault, but think of workplace harassment.
And that's what I'm thinking. Like,
you have
to be brave to say something, because to be honest, I hope that I would be brave, but I just think about like if I was an athlete, I was working really hard. If I was in a job and I was, making a certain amount of money, and I knew that if I spoke up, I could lose money, prestige, or whatever, that would be so difficult. Like that, anyone that ever speaks out, I think is just incredibly brave. I am lost. At a loss for words, really, about like, how all I can think of is just like, that's just so brave to me, because it would be very difficult. It would be.
Don't be afraid to speak up. And if you've had a situation like what I went through, what Melanie went through, or like a workplace harassment, you're scared to speak up, let us know. Well, like honestly, I'll drop everything to get on a call with you and talk it through, your decisions and your choices. Just like, don't be afraid. If you're trying to decide whether you should speak up or not, come to us. We'll listen to you. We'll be there for you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially as someone who's like walked through the system of like reporting my abuse and like dealing with a victim advocate and having court dates, etc. Like, I would love to help someone knowing like their first best step. And two, I just want to like re-emphasize that if you don't speak up, nothing's ever going to change. Imagine if these Olympic girls never spoke up, we wouldn't be having these conversations. There wouldn't be change happening. So I just want to encourage everyone that you can Be the change. It's going to be hard. You're going to ruffle some feathers. You're going to, shake the water. But that's what comes with saying, hello, this is not okay. And I'm going to say something about it.
And last thing to wrap it up, and God calls us to speak up in these situations. So if it is a risk of possibly going to the Olympics or getting your job or losing your family or not going to do your whatever it is, God will make up for it. Like God calls us, you being brave, stepping out, God is going to honor that.
Yeah. And I will say before, like the first thing like I did was pray and truly felt it was on my heart from God to speak up.
Yeah. Beautiful. All right, ladies, thanks everyone so much for listening. This has been like a little bit of a darker episode. We had like some sadness in this episode, but
it was a good like awareness episode.
Yeah, good way to spin it. Thank you everyone for listening. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you share it. Please also rate, review, subscribe, tell all your friends. Do not forget to donate to our feminine products donation thing. Also too, if you're enjoying this podcast and you're like, you know what, girls, I think you should have a better mic. You know what, girls, I think you should have a nicer background. You know what, girls, I think you should be doing this full time. Please donate. There's going to be a link to donate for that, or write us a check. You can email us and we'll give you the place to put the check. If it's like a couple $1,000, that'd be nice too. All right. Anything else I should cover, you guys?
That's all.
Oh, actually, sorry. One more time, I want to say Gabby Petito is 5 feet 5 inches tall, about 110 pounds, with blonde hair and blue eyes. She has several tattoos, including one on her forearm that reads, "Let it be."
So we'll post her picture too.
Yes. Okay, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.